Hey Bonnie, this is Bob Payne. I just wanted to create a tutorial for you. I think this was going to be easier than me typing up the instructions, but based on your email regarding how do I send out an invitation but only have the first so many people who respond, how does it get cut off so it doesn't happen to stay out there long past folks that I'm going to, as I have maximum count spaces and so forth. It's actually a product of Google Forms, not the calendar, but there is a way for you to incorporate calendar if you want it. So I'm just in my Baker Gmail. I'm going to go up here and get access to all the rest of my, the rest of my Google app stuff. So I'm going to go into Drive because that's where you create your form. Go over here to Create and down to Form. So you can pick any one of these templates that you want here. I'm just going to choose this default one. Give it a name. So this could be, whatever, invitation to, whatever you're going to call it, whatever it will mean something to you. As far as your settings go, you can leave things just the way they are. This one, since you're doing this in Baker, it's going to always have clicked here, require Baker login to view this form. Even if you have this checked and you send it to somebody's email address outside at baker.edu, when you launch this form and you send it, it's going to say, hey, you've got some email addresses here that are not in Baker. Are you sure you want to do this? If you say yes, you'll still be able to go ahead and do this. So, but I just wanted to show you that. So then you have to put together your form. In other words, build it out the rest of the way. So in your particular case, you probably want something like first name, change it to text. This allows them to put a one-word answer in. I'm going to mark this as a required question. Go down here and add an item. Last name, text is fine. You want that a required question. You might say campus, location. It's whatever else you need to know about the person who is going to RSVP. And you could say, you can either make it a multiple choice and list all the campuses. You can make checkbox, which would allow them to select, you can still list all the campuses that allow them to select more than one, or you can just choose from a list and say Allen Park, whatever it is you need. You can keep adding them again, make it a required question. So at this point I'm going to say done. You can put whatever questions you want that would give you the information that you need. What happens with this is it creates electronic spreadsheet, creates an Excel file. Okay. So when you're done, these areas is if you need to delete a question, you go there. If you wanted to edit a question because you see a spelling mistake or what have you, you just go up into edit and it'll pull that question up. At this particular point, I'm going to say done. Okay. You probably don't want a show link to submit another response because that would allow them to send, to respond to your poll or your survey more than once. So you're going to probably want to take this off. And then you could send the form. But before you send the form, you're going to want to create what's called a script. Now a script adds some functionality to your particular survey form. It can improve efficiency, but it definitely automates a process, and that's what you want to do. And the script that you want to use is one called Form Limiter. Form Limiter. So originally what you have to do in order to create the script is you have to put it in the spreadsheet mode. So I'm just going to click on View Responses because it puts it in this spreadsheet mode here. Okay. Okay, so once you're in this particular mode where you're staring at your spreadsheet here, you're going to go up into Tools and click on Tools, and you're going to go to Script Gallery, which is the first one. You don't have to touch anything else that's in here. And so Script Gallery is going to load. Once Script Gallery loads, you're looking for Form Limiter. There it is, Form Limiter. You have to install it. Doesn't take long. Authorization required. The app needs an authorization to run. You say yes, and then you have to go down here and hit accept. Okay, once you've done that, you can hit close, and notice now we have this Form Limiter tab here that we didn't have before. We went into Tools, we have this Form Limiter tab. So you can go in here and you can run the initial configuration. And then you go back to Form Limiter again and click on that and you get Settings. So what Settings does is it gives you this little box, and this gives you a limiter for your form, just like the name is. So right now it's set for date and time. So if I wanted this form to be good from now until next Friday, let's say, I would just put in the date and the time that I want this and hit Save Settings. You actually want this one, maximum number of form responses. The other choice is spreadsheet cell value. So it could be like if you could actually list it as, do you want a yes or a no? So you would want to calculate all the yeses versus all the nos. So you could use the spreadsheet value and say anytime somebody has clicked a yes uh, as their response, then that would work. In your cases, you want maximum number of form responses, and then you just use these little arrows to determine what your number is. So if your number's 2 or 5 or whatever that is, I think I remember from your email you wanted like 2. So you just go there and you hit Save Settings. Before that, I want to explain this. Send all spreadsheet editors a notification when the form limit is reached. So if more than you were one of the editors on this particular form, in other words, if this form was shared and there was a number of different editors, and one of you were to go in and edit this form, make some changes here, and then save it, if that box is checked, all of the other editors would be able to figure out that something has been changed. They would get a notification. In this case, you're going to be the only person going to be building this, so you don't have any issue there. You just pull that out, and then you hit Save Settings. And that little thing happened with that little gray box. So at this particular point, it's going to configure your survey so that you can now send the survey. Okay? So I'm going to go back to the original form here. This is our original form. We've now built our script, so there's nothing else we have to do. We could, we could add additional items, but assuming that we're good, what we do now is we hit Send Form. We have a couple of choices here. We can enter the email addresses of all the people we want this form to go to, or depending on how many people that is, if that's a whole bunch of people, we may have a distribution list in our email. We can actually just grab this code. Here's the link. And so I'm just going to put myself in here. This is one of my personal email accounts. You do not want to have include form in the email. They still have to click on the link, and sometimes folks are confused. What will happen is there'll be an email with the link. They click on the link, it takes them right to the live form, and they go ahead and they take the survey. If you have include form in email, that's just so they could see what the whole form is, but they can't actually, they don't launch the form from the copy of the form that's in the email. They always launch the form from the link. So I always get rid of this. I don't see that there's any value of having that in there. Most of the time it confuses people because they'll try to click the actual form itself and enter their data, and that does not get recorded by Google, so you don't want to go that way. And then I hit send. I could, if I wanted to send it to more people, I'll send it to another one of my personal email accounts. I can do that. Are you sure you would like to open this form users to people outside of Baker College? That's because I use my personal email account. If I made a mistake with that, I could hit cancel. I'm going to say okay because that's all right. So then this particular form is now going to go out. If you wanted to see what this form looks like live, this is actually what it looks like. So when I go to my personal email, there we go. I have the ability to take the form. So what I did there is I actually went, I paused the movie and went and voted twice already, and then I wanted you to see what it looks like once you hit your limit of 2. The form test form limiter is no longer accepting responses. Try contacting the owner, blah, blah, blah. So basically this is what they're going to see once the limit is reached. So that's a way for you to put something together and limit it to the number of responses. So hopefully this was helpful to you.